Hello, everyone, and welcome to DannieBSpeaks, the podcast. Now, this is going to be a good one. It's all about my boo, mother, Janet Jackson, and my thoughts on her two-part documentary that aired simultaneously on A&E and Lifetime this past Friday and Saturday evenings. So if you saw it, you'll be able to follow along and understand what I'm talking about when I mention certain things. If you didn't see it, I suggest you watch it. You can watch it on the A&E app, and I'm pretty sure they will be replaying it, and I'm sure it'll be on the Lifetime app as well. But that's where I watched it, was on A&E, and I got some things to say about A&E. But anyway, you know we had to talk about it, so here it is, my take on the Janet Jackson documentary. So, can we just talk about it? Any and everyone who knows me knows how much I love Janet Jackson. It's not a secret. She is my favorite female entertainer of all time. You know, we all know that Janet's not going to give a strong or even an amazing vocal, but she can sing. The thing about it is that she will entertain you down. She will trendset and just to be any and everything. I first became a Janet Jackson fan when I first saw her When I Think of You music video way back in the day. Remember those music videos? Yeah. To this day, that is still my favorite song of hers. It's just, I just remember the video was fun and colorful. And of course, I've always liked to dance, so I was hooked. And I just always have liked that song. So it's of all of her songs that I absolutely love and adore, that is my all-time favorite song of Janet Jackson. And it could be because that's when I really became a fan, even though I was really young. But, from that point on, she was truly my favorite, hands down. There was nothing else she could do no wrong in my eyes, nothing. And I remember going to the record store. You remember those as well? Yeah. And buying, my mom bought. I was only probably about 7 years old, and I got her Control cassette tape. Do you remember those? And then a few years later, and I'm pretty sure that I bought with my own little money, her Rhythm Nation 1814 cassette tape. And baby, then I got a chance to see her live. Now, of course, I live in Columbus, Ohio, been here my entire life except for when I went away to school. And if it wasn't an act coming to the Ohio State Fair, we just didn't get any big concerts coming here at the time. Well, I should say at least no black acts. Let's just keep it real. So we traveled to Detroit to go see her because we had family there. It was between Detroit and Cincinnati. I'm not sure if she came to Cleveland, but I just remember it being between Detroit and Cincinnati. We chose to go to Detroit to go see her. That was it. I got to see my girl live. Lifelong fan, instantly made on that very day. And to this day, as I mentioned, she could do no wrong in my eyes. And you'll be able to see that in a little bit. But I still, of course, keep it real. See, I'm not one of those fans or people who's like celebrity obsessed, and you know who they are. It's just like if they have a favorite or if it's just a celebrity period and they want to live vicariously through them or whatever, it's just like they sit there and they defend them constantly. No, I don't do all that. But in the same token, she's perfect. So anyway, now, before the Rhythm Nation concert, I had been to a few concerts before. This was much more than just a regular concert. I hadn't been to many. I was only like 10 or 11 years old at the time. I can't remember, probably 10, because I think it was 1990, I'm pretty sure, when the Rhythm Nation tour, when we saw that. But anyway, and you'll understand what I'm saying if you've ever been to a Janet concert or if you've seen Madonna, Prince, or even Michael Jackson. And even if you've just seen their shows on TV, their concerts on TV, you know what I'm talking about. They put on a theatrical performance. It's like their whole concert, the whole show tells a story. And if you follow it, you'll get it. And let me think. And then I think, a few years later, she did end up coming to Columbus for her Janet tour. And of course, I was there. And I saw her Velvet Rope tour. Maybe I saw it twice. No, I did see it twice. Judge your mammy. I saw her in Columbus right before I left for college. And then while I was in Virginia, I saw her. I think it was in Virginia Beach. I saw her there. In my opinion, the Velvet Rope tour, the Velvet Rope concert is one of the best concerts ever. And not just Janet, that's just my opinion. I'm not being biased. I've been to a lot of concerts. To me, that is just, it was like perfect from beginning to end. And I saw her All For You tour. I saw that here in Columbus. I remember that. And I didn't get to see her next two tours because I don't believe that she came anywhere close to, I don't even know if she came to Ohio for him. There was some reason why I didn't go see him, whatever. And I don't really do much traveling for a show. You know, it's not that serious to me. I don't really care who you are. Yeah, so I saw the All For You tour here in Columbus, and then I saw her number ones in Cleveland. And then I believe after that, my last time seeing Janet was here in Columbus in 2017 or no, 2000. Oh, I think it was 2018. Yeah, it was it had to be 2018. Let me tell you something. I treated myself to that concert. I mean, I was going to go regardless. Months before, I finally recovered from my first major surgery. And those were the best tickets that I ever bought to any show, especially, no, I'm lying. I had better seats for other shows. But it was for her State of the World tour, and this was the tour that she came back after she had her son. So, yeah, I mean, true fan here, no BS about it, none of that. I have all her albums, physical and digital. I have, I think, 2 of her concerts on DVD. I know I have the All For You and the Velvet Rope. Janet's my girl, so I couldn't wait to watch this. Now, regarding documentary, I'm not going to touch on every single point like I want to, and I can, but I'm going to discuss some of the things that really stuck out to me, and yeah, there were plenty. Now, I don't claim to know everything about Janet, but I thought I knew enough, and I learned a lot more about her from this documentary. So let's just get this out of the way real quick. I said I was going to say something about A&E, and I'm sure Lifetime did it too, as I heard other people complaining about this as well. But dear A&E and Lifetime, thank you so much for this, but damn, I mean, the commercials were ridiculous. I got so much done during the commercial breaks, and it was well worth the wait, don't get me wrong, but I was just like, how many commercials are they going to show in one break? But anyway, I got that out the way, so let's move on. But I liked how it started with Janet going back to her original hometown where she was born in Gary, Indiana. That was really cool. I'm not sure if she's ever been back to that house. It didn't seem like it. I didn't catch if she said that she had been back there since they moved when she was very young, but it was good to see. I liked how she got real emotional seeing a huge mural of her brothers on the side of a building. It was, the Jackson 5 when they were young. I mean, you could tell that the city takes care of that mural too. I mean, it was clean, okay? We got to see family pics, videos, and we learned a little bit more about their upbringing. It wasn't really any different from what we had learned before, but still, I love to hear it. It was still cool. And can I say that I love Janet and Randy's relationship, and I think he is a great choice to be her manager. He's obviously been doing a great job so far. She's not as active in her career as she has been in the past. I mean, let's keep it real. She's not, and she doesn't have to be. She's already icon. So, just do what you have to do. Release music when you want to. Go on tour when you want to. I mean, that's how people at that level in their career can do. They don't have anything else to prove to anybody. And another thing I liked was we got to see Janet's very first television appearance and performance with her brothers. I mean, it was her and Randy doing the performance, but she was on there with her brothers. And I'm sure I have seen that performance, like a videotape of it or, a clip of it, I should say. But I didn't know that was her first performance that she had done on TV. So that was pretty cool to see. So we're going to fast forward a little bit to when she really started taking control of her career. This is the part that a lot of people may know why she fired her father, but it did get really a little bit more into it. She really didn't feel like she had any type of say-so or anything like that. She felt like she had pretty good ideas. Like she even mentioned, I don't know if it was for her first or second album, she didn't want that cover, and her dad picked everything, and she had to go through and pick exactly which one she wanted, which picture she wanted for the album cover. And she didn't want any of them, but, she had to do it. So let's move on. after 2 albums that didn't do too good, and her acting career basically being put on the back burner because her father wanted her to sing. That's what he knew. He knew the entertainment business, but he really knew the music business. So he wasn't managing the Jacksons anymore. They were the Jacksons at the time. They fired him. He just really put all his energy, and maybe, as Janet said, a little too much energy into her career. And she never was not appreciative of it, but she knew what she wanted. And I think that really helped her be comfortable making the decision, getting rid of her father as her manager, firing him. Around that time, also, she was in a marriage that was in deep, deep trouble. And we'll talk about those relationships in a little bit. But at this point, she had to take control of her career. She fired her dad. She hooked up with Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, Paula Abdul, and even Tina Landon, who was a background dancer. And she still danced with her even when she became her head choreographer. If you know any Janet steps, there were other people who contributed to the dance moves and things like that, to the choreography, but Tina was the one. Tina's bad. And she's worked with other people as well, but she's mainly known as being Janet's choreographer. But when you put all them together, magic was made. And we got to see creative Janet, and we also got to see the Janet that didn't take no shit at all. And I like that because I like seeing, it definitely humanizes the artist when you get to see what happens behind the scenes, because, of course, we only see the finished products, and usually those are damn near as perfect as they can be. That's what they want to put out, and that's understandable. You're putting a lot of money and time, and it's your reputation into it. So I like seeing the behind the scenes stuff. Like, I used to love watching, making the video and things like that. What was that show that was on? Dang, I can't remember. There was a show where they documented I can't remember the name of it. That's going to kill me. It just came to me. I'm freestyling right now. So it's the show. What was the name of that show? It was either MTV or VH1, but I think it was called Diary. I remember I used to like watching that back then. But anyway, so, it's just good when you get to see the behind the scenes stuff and see what really happens. And it makes you appreciate the art a little bit more, I think. And we don't get to see that now. Everything is pretty much trying to, they don't even really try to have any talent nowadays. Let's just keep it real. It's just what's out there. So maybe it's best we don't see the behind the scenes stuff, But anyway, let's keep it moving. I think people just see her and, many people on her level just as an entertainer, because honestly, that's what we're supposed to see. That's basically what the audience, what the fans, what the public is supposed to see, just the entertainer, just what's put out there. But not only does she write and produce her own music, she has co-created all of her concerts as well. She's set fashion trends. She's done so much for Black women and popular culture. But she's also a businesswoman as well. I remember when she said that she wanted to go to Pepperdine and study business law. Who wants to do that? I know there are people that want to do that, but when you're actually in an entertainment family and you've had a taste of the business, you've already been in there, but you still have business on your mind. You know what I mean? So I didn't know that. I didn't know that she wanted to do that originally. But Papa Joe had different plans for her. Now, I did feel bad for her that the Coca-Cola deal was scrapped because of Michael Jackson's 1993 allegations. And that would have been huge for her. That would have been really good for her. It just seemed like she got pigeonholed, or as she said, guilty by association because of that, all that was going on, which isn't surprising. But she still prevailed over all of it. She continued to have #1 hits, #1 music videos, #1 albums, #1 concerts. Enough said. So she did what she had to do. Child, let's get into these relationships real quick now. Lord have mercy. James DeBarge. So first of all, there is no baby. And I did a blog on this a while ago when this came up not too long ago with the DeBarge family. Not all of them, but it was mainly Mama DeBarge and James, their confusion or whatever, or trying. I don't, it was weird, but there is no baby. She said that she could have never kept a baby away from James. People that were around her at that time said she was never pregnant. She said she gained weight from being on birth control pills, and there are certain birth control pills that do make you put weight on you. A lot of them don't, but some did, and some still do. But anyway, I mean, she really tried to make that marriage work. And I mean, she even jeopardized her career. That part was really sad to see because it seemed like, and granted, I was very young. I didn't really probably even know much about Janet, like when she was on Fame and stuff like that. Like I didn't see Fame or pay attention to it until it was in syndication, a few years later. But seeing her really try to save that marriage and save James, that was really heartbreaking. And you can tell that, I mean, the entire DeBarge family story is sad, and it's a sad story, period. I mean, they went through it. And maybe I'll do a show on that one day, on their story one day, but it's really sad. I mean, yeah. But I mean, James was caught up in that lifestyle that the DeBarges lived that was filled with drugs and abuse, and he was a hurt individual, and he was a drug addict. I mean, and their marriage was doomed from the beginning, but especially day one, and literally day one, seeing how on their wedding night, James left Janet in the hotel room in Grand Rapids, Michigan, of all places, while he went out and got high all night. So, I mean, yeah, she had to deal with a lot in that relationship. Not only being in a relationship at 18, that would be a lot, period, but to deal with that, period, it would be a lot, but especially for an 18-year-old. I don't care what type of 18-year-old you are. I mean, yeah, it was a lot. Now, the one that was funny to me, even though they never dated, Tupac. Now, I mean, dear social media, y'all ain't shit, because I was cracking up. Y'all are out here making memes of Jada Pinkett Smith and her reaction to hearing about Janet and Pac's chemistry. I mean, that was funny. That was hilarious. I saw a bunch of them, and it was funny. And I'm sure it made her feel some type of way if she watched it, because you know how she feels about Pac, but, it is what it is. I mean, but now I remember the funniest story that Pac told about Janet after filming a Poetic Justice Wrapped was that, they exchanged numbers, and when Pac went to go call Janet, the line was disconnected. And now we know Pac has been known to over-exaggerate some things every now and then, but if that's true, that's hilarious. That was too funny. Renee Elizondo, dear Renee. Now, I really wanted to like you. I really wanted to like Renee, okay? But I could see how he became annoying and controlling because I was getting annoyed by him at certain points. And I mean, and to hear that you were basically abusing mother, oh no, nope. With you, it ended right there for me. I was done when I heard that. I was completely done. And it's sad because you and Janet worked so well together. But that creative control that you had, it turned into real control over your wife. But I will say this, Janet and Renee, y'all did that, keeping that marriage a secret until he actually filed for divorce. It ain't that a bitch. He's the one that filed, but it is what it is. And she did say that he was another one who had some substance abuse issues. He was, I guess he had a back injury or something like that. And he got addicted to painkillers, which does happen. It's one of the most common ways that people get addicted to drugs. That was how I believe Bunny DeBarge said that she and Elle both got addicted to drugs was because of painkillers. So it's not uncommon, but yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. And Jermaine Dupri, buddy, the children are out here letting you have it, and I am hollering. But I got a question for you. So did you really try and blame being with Janet Jackson for your cheating? You attempted that route. Girl, now that was too much. And I already knew that he cheated on Janet. That to me wasn't a secret. A lot of people obviously didn't know, or just being reminded of it was funny. Well, not funny because he cheated, but the reaction that everybody got, but everybody gave, I should say. But I thought that was known that was the main reason for their breakup. People were really offended by him cheating on Janet, as they should have been. Now, okay, I'm not going to go there. But anyway, I didn't know that they were actually engaged. Now, that was news to me. I didn't know they were engaged. I thought they just had a long-term relationship, which they did. And he did point out that their relationship was longer than either one of her marriages, even her marriage to Renee. So that was commendable. But how long were you cheating on our girl, though? Whatever. But I'm sure the relationship was hard. I mean, I get it. For one, Jermaine Dupri dating Janet Jackson, I'm not going to be shady, but that was already enough and shocking in itself from day one. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But they both had busy schedules and lived on opposite sides of the country. He was in Atlanta, she was in LA. And so, yeah, I mean, all of that plus being a famous couple in the public eye, I'm sure it was very hard. I mean, Janet basically went from having her partner with her at all times to basically being alone in a relationship. So, yeah, I mean, you will never live down blaming Janet for other women wanting you. I mean, bruh. I mean, come on now. That was a bit of a stretch, but it was cute. It was cute. Now, what I was surprised at that they didn't mention Janet's last marriage. I mean, but you know what? It didn't seem to be any drama with their split, at least from what I can remember anything happening. So hopefully things are good between them. And I hope it is, especially since they have a son together. But my nosy ass wanted the tea. I mean, I wanted to know what happened, But anyway, so now let's get to this part right here. So I got, some things to say. I've been having things to say for years about this. So yeah, now let me do this. Let me go here first. Janet may have said that she and Justin Timberlake are still friends and that she was the one who told him not to make a statement after he felt that he should have when the Super Bowl incident happened. She was the one that advised him not to say anything. And you know what? I still don't care. I don't like him. And I mean, wasn't he shady afterwards? And didn't he say something in a song that was pertaining to her? That was kind of smart-assy or whatever. And maybe they weren't getting along at that point. I don't know. Seeing Janet's personality and the type of person that she is, how she always just wants to help people and take care of them and everything like that, I can see why she would say it, but I wish she wouldn't have. And I'm not sure even if she did say, well, maybe you should say something or whatever, he probably wouldn't have. And let's say he did make a statement and apologize, it would have still came down on her. And it did, and very hard. So let's talk about the treatment Mother received after the Super Bowl accident, because that's what it was, an accident. And let's talk about how the media couldn't wait to tear down a Black woman, and especially a Black woman at the top of her game, and especially Michael Jackson's sister. I mean, but that's how they do, though. We all know that. And I also remember how the media immediately made Justin the victim and how it was Janet that set it all up. Janet didn't need no attention. She's Janet Jackson. She didn't need, if she had a new album coming out or whatever, she didn't need any press like that. The Super Bowl performance was enough. And she didn't even need to do that. So whatever. So they immediately made Justin the victim, and that pissed me off from the beginning. And he played up to it. He did. I remember he played up to it because I was like, well, damn, just how vicious they were with her. It was crazy. I mean, they had the audacity to ban and blackball the Janet Jackson from any and everything that they could. No, that didn't work well with me. I think that's when I kind of started looking at the entertainment business, as a business. And even though I'm not in the entertainment business, I never really was. Well, I kind of was at one point. That's for a whole nother show for a whole nother day. It was, that's when I think I really started looking at it wow, damn, you know what I mean? It just really hit me that they're vicious. You know what I mean? Radio stations started acting brand new by not playing her music anymore. What did radio stations have to do with it? You couldn't see her. So, what was that? But anyway, that's how they do. So whatever. And Black people, please know that it doesn't matter who you are and how much money and fame that you have. One slip up and they will do any and everything to take you down. We've seen it over and over again. It's just the game. You are very expendable. Always know that. They can make us look like fools, but we can't be human and make any mistakes, or at least any in their eyes. And you don't have to be rich and famous to deal with that. But again, that's a totally different blog. That's a totally different podcast for another day. So let's talk about Janet, the mother. And Mother became a mom at 51 years old. And you can tell how much joy that Issa brings her. She just lights up when she or anyone else mentions him. I love it. And I did a blog post on my website, DannieBSpeaks.com, back in, I think it was 2016. When she first announced her pregnancy. I believe that's when it was. And it was meant to be funny, coming from a huge fan. And, just a little bit of shade was thrown in there, but it wasn't anything malicious or anything like that. But it was just my showing my disappointment in a funny, condescending way of her canceling her concert because I had been waiting to see her live, for her comeback tour and all that stuff, which I hate calling it a comeback tour because she doesn't have to come back to anything. But anyway, and that was just a selfish part of me. But of course, I was extremely happy for her becoming a mother. And let me tell you something, she snapped right back after having that baby and was right back in rehearsal for her State of the World tour, which is the one that I attended. But yeah, seeing her talk about her son and everything like that and just getting to see just a little bit. Of course, she's not going to give us too much, because I'm pretty sure she wants to keep her son as private as possible. Just hearing her talk about him and when she was like making sure the temperature was right on the tour bus and all that stuff. I mean, I love seeing that. So I was going to leave this part out and I thought about it. And of course I couldn't, but I do want to touch on a little bit of Janet's relationship with Michael Jackson, mainly because he was such a huge influence to her, along with her other brothers, of course. The reason why I was going to leave it out was because I wanted it to focus more on Janet and Michael Jackson. Not saying that he would take away from it, anything that I would say, of course, but mainly some of the things that she said kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Not with him, just the way that the people around him kind of treated Janet. He was so into it, he kind of went along with it. And of course, it didn't make me not like him any, of course not. That's Michael Jackson. But it just kind of, because, we knew what he went through and everything. But anyway, let me just get into it. The part when she talked about how, she said that they were super close. It was the Three Musketeers, Michael, Randy, and Janet. You could tell that, like, even when Michael re-released, I believe, Off the Wall and Thriller, when he re-released those two albums, you can hear tracks. He has there were bonus tracks where you can hear Randy and Janet in the studio with them and they were just having fun and stuff like that. So you could tell by the pictures that they took when they were kids and everything. It was always the three of them, but it was just so weird because I always wondered, and I knew she was super busy, he was super busy, but I just always wondered why they weren't that close after a while. And of course, their careers took them in two different directions and everything like that. And then stuff that he went through and people he said he couldn't trust. And I just wondered, was she one of those people or, what happened? But we'll get more into that when I talk about their Scream collaboration. But one of the craziest things, it was just the weirdest shit when she was like, he would always come in her room when they lived at home together. He would always come in her room and they would talk for hours. And then this one day he came in, he sat on her bed, and normally the conversation would start and they would just, be being silly and just talk and catch up or whatever. But he just sat there and neither one of them said anything to each other. And I can't remember if she said how much time went by, but then he just got up and walked out. And that was at the point, I guess this was around Thriller, maybe. I'm pretty sure, I think it was around the Thriller album. And of course, we know how that took him to a whole nother level, just period. But she said that's when she first noticed that there was a change in their relationship. There was a shift. And that was interesting to me because I was just really curious when that may have happened. And if that's what really stuck out to her, then that's possibly it. But I do want to talk about the Scream collaboration. Now, that song just hits hard. I love that song when it first came out, the video, everything like that. I didn't know it cost $7 million to do. And that's a lot of money, period. But especially back then in 95, yeah, that was a lot of money. She did the Scream collaboration. She did the song with him to support him. Of course, he was going through all that stuff, after the first child molestation charges that happened, and he ended up settling, which she said that she wished he wouldn't have settled because it did make him look guilty, and I think that's how a lot of people took it. And then some people took it like they understood, just let it go. But me personally, I do wish he would have fought it then, and maybe stuff wouldn't have happened later or whatever, and more would have been revealed about that family that we came to find out later, allegedly. Now, the part that really touched me was when they were in his apartment, I think she said in New York, and they were writing the song together. That was cute. That was really cute how they were getting the lyrics together and everything and the melody and all that stuff. That was good because it was good to see them not only working together, but to see that artistic side of both of them, you know, even before they got in the studio and everything. And then Jimmy Jam talking about how when, you know, Michael came in the studio all cool and calm and quiet demeanor, you know, like he always seemed to have. But when he got in there and he was dancing around the studio and, you know, just like turned into the Tasmanian devil, I thought that was funny because I got an instant visual, even though we couldn't see it. I just got the visual and I thought that was funny. But when they got to the video, she said that they filmed on separate days or separate times of the day, I should say. Of course, except for their dance sequence and things like that, the parts where they were together in the film, but the separate parts they filmed at different times of the day. And that was mainly because his people closed off the set, even to Janet, to the collaborator on the song. And not only that, that's his baby sister. So I thought that was very weird. Yeah, that really rubbed me the wrong way. Maybe he just wasn't thinking about it, you know, and he just wanted just the focus to be on his performance and making sure that he got it right. But Janet said that she felt like that his people were putting them against each other, and she didn't like that. So maybe that's why we didn't get more collaborations between the both of them on that level. And maybe that's another reason why it seemed like even though they loved each other and when they did get together, they had an amazing time. She said they would just sit there and just laugh at everything. So, I mean, there was no love lost, but it's just sad that you see how people in the business can hurt a dynamic and hurt a relationship. But I mean, I know that she was filming Why Did I Get Married Too when she got the news that he had passed away, and that was devastating. So just that whole thing, I know she wished that she would have had more time with him and everything like that, especially later on in his life. They weren't as close. She said the last time they saw each other was at a party for their parents. I don't know how long ago that was before he passed away, but she said that was the last time that she saw him. And, you know, the last thing they said to each other was, "I love you." So that's kind of some closure, but still to lose your brother. I mean, to us, and I think I remember her or someone in the family saying this, like, to all of us, he was Michael Jackson, the entertainer, the superstar, the king of pop, all that stuff. But to her and the rest of the family, that was their family. That was her big brother. That was one of her inspirations to get into the business. Yeah, it was you know, her and the Michael Jackson thing, they didn't really touch on their relationship too much because, of course, it was about Janet. But you can't talk about Janet without talking about Michael. I mean, let's keep it real. So to me, the documentary was everything. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I felt that she was being honest with everything, which, I mean, she has no need to lie. I wasn't expecting her to lie or fabricate anything. It was just really from the heart, and you could tell where she was getting emotional on certain parts and things like that. And it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. The people who contributed to her documentary were from all eras and aspects of her life, both personal and professional. I always loved seeing Mrs. Jackson. It was nice to see the clips of her father. That was good because remember, he passed away in 2018. It was good seeing him because regardless of what people think about Joseph Jackson, he did that. Regardless if you agree with his parenting, regardless if you agree with how he treated his children, if you think he was too strict and all that stuff, he did what needed to be done. Now, I did kiki to myself a little bit, wondering where LaToya and Jermaine were, because I love seeing LaToya. LaToya is just funny to me. She just I can just look at her and just laugh. She's just hilarious to me. But I was wondering where they were because, you know, neither one of them, LaToya or Jermaine, they don't miss too many opportunities to be in front of someone's camera. I mean, let's keep it real. But for Jermaine, it wasn't about him, so maybe that's why he wasn't there, but I digress. Riri was looking good, and she was looking just like her mama. Tito and his cool ass were there. I mean, I love Tito Jackson. I've always loved Tito. And of course, Randy, who I mentioned earlier, he was there. He's her manager now, and that's a good fit. So, I mean, as a result, many of us learned a lot about her. Yes, some of it we knew already, but trust me, everyone didn't. And just in case you forgot about all those accomplishments and her work, which it all wasn't even covered. So, I mean, there's that, I mean, she's done so much more. And of course, they couldn't cover everything. It was good to see. I'm glad that they did that. And also as a result, her albums, singles, and videos have shot to the top of the charts on Apple Music alone, which that happens a lot of times when stuff like this happens. Like a documentary or a movie on a certain artist comes out. It happens, but I'm here for it. She will be releasing a new single soon. I'm not sure what date. She's been making her rounds on the talk shows. The day I'm recording this, she's going to be on Jimmy Fallon tonight. So she's doing her thing. She's around, whatever. She was doing some talk shows last week, the week that the documentary aired. So she's getting back out there. So we're going to see, what she does and just see what happens next with Miss Jackson If You're Nasty. And that is my take on the Janet Jackson documentary. That's all I got to say. Like I said, I could have went on and on, but that's pretty much sums it up for me. That's the important points that I really wanted to talk about. And I guess we'll do this again on Memorial Day weekend with Bobby Brown's documentary. He's going to have a 2-part documentary, and I can't wait for that one. So, yeah. So as always, I want to thank you for tuning in to Danny B Speaks, the podcast. I hope that you enjoyed the show about my girl Janet. Don't forget to check out my other podcast, which is Danny B Speaks Presents Not Another True Crime Podcast, which I probably will be changing the name on that one for a couple reasons, but we shall see. But you can listen to both shows on my website, DannieBSpeaks.com. You can also listen to them on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, and Audible. You can also check them out on my YouTube page, Danny B Speaks, where I have also re-uploaded all of my old podcasts that got taken down, or that I took down accidentally, I should say. Let me not say they got taken down. I took them down like an idiot. But anyway, so also on my YouTube page, after you subscribe, of course, you can also enjoy nostalgic videos that I come across or create myself. Music mashups and other original content will be coming soon to the YouTube channel. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at DannieBSpeaks. You can also follow me on Apple Music, where I share most of my playlists that I create there, and on Tidal as well. And I put them on my Apple Music profile. And you can find that profile under Danny B Speaks. If you need to reach out to me for any business inquiries, such as promoting your business, products, etc., and I will do that on my podcast, my website, social media platforms, or if you just want to discuss collaborating with me or sponsoring me, please hit me up at DannieBSpeaks@gmail.com. And speaking of collaborations, I have another podcast currently in the works, and I know you all are going to love it. Hopefully that podcast will be coming within the next week. We're still working out some kinks because the two of us aren't in the same city. So we're just trying to make sure that the sound is right and everything like that. I've been used to doing this by myself, so collaborating with somebody is a little bit more time consuming. So we're just trying to get it together. And then once we're able to actually get on a set schedule, the show will be more consistent. But that will be coming very soon, I promise you that. And I'm still working on my merch line. I am designing everything myself. I say it again, I'm in no way a designer or an artist at all. The merch is just my aesthetic. It's just my brand, and just little things that I say and things that I come across or that I just want to put out there. And I'm really excited about it. This is something that I've been working on for years. I mean, probably like the last 5 or 6 years. And it will definitely be being released this year for sure. Short stories are coming to the website. And of course, more reviews and posts. I've got a lot going on there and just period. So trust me, everything's getting together. Now, as always, I appreciate you all. Be sure to continue to support or start supporting the Danny B Speaks LLC brand. It would be so greatly appreciated. A follow, a share, subscription to my YouTube page, which I really need to get those up. Word of mouth, they can all go a long way. It really can. So until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other. Be safe out there. Mask up, drink water, take your vitamins, all of that good stuff. And I will catch you all on the next one. Take care, you all. Peace.